The twin suns of Tarsi's 9 burned high in the purple sky. Heat waves shimmered above the stone buildings. A large crowd had gathered in the center of the city. Aliens of every kind stood shoulder to shoulder, watching a tall metal platform. In silence, on that platform stood a woman, not just any woman, but Vela, an alien with silver skin and glowing blue eyes. Her hands were tied behind her back. Heavy chains wrapped around her arms and legs. Her long white hair moved slightly in the dry wind. A loud voice echoed across the square. By the order of the High Council of Tarsi's 9, Vela is found guilty of treason and lies against the state. Her punishment is death. The crowd did not cheer, they only watched. Cold eyes, curious stares, a group of armored guards stood around the stage. One of them stepped forward and raised a long blade. It glowed red with energy. Vela didn't cry. She didn't scream. She looked calm, but her eyes showed pain, not fear, but sorrow. Deep sorrow. She took a breath and looked at the sky, as if searching for something. Or someone. Then it happened. A shout from the back of the crowd. Stop! The voice was strong, loud, and clear, and it didn't belong to any alien. Heads turned. The crowd parted slowly. A man pushed forward. He was tall, covered in dust and travel gear. His skin was pale, compared to the locals. His eyes were sharp. He wore a worn-out jacket with an Earth Alliance badge barely visible on the shoulder. A human. Guards raised their weapons. Shock spread like fire. A human on Tarsi's 9, impossible. Humans were not welcome here. Most believe they had left this part of the galaxy long ago. The executioner paused. The man stepped onto the platform and raised both hands. I said stop, he repeated. This woman is innocent. You're making a mistake. A guard shouted, Who are you to speak here? My name is Jaren Holt, the man said. I'm from Earth, and I have evidence. You're executing the wrong person, the crowd murmured. The High Council members, seated in floating chairs above the crowd, whispered to each other in their alien tongue. Vela looked at the man. For a moment, her calm mask broke. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Jaren? She whispered, almost too soft to hear. 2 guards rushed forward and grabbed Jaren by the arms. Let me speak, he shouted. I have proof that she didn't commit treason. She was set up by someone inside the council. Lies, one of the guards barked. Human lies. Jaren struggled, but the guards hit him with electric batons. He fell to his knees. Blood ran from his lip. Vela tried to move, but the chains held her tight. Why are you doing this? She asked him softly. Because I know what they're hiding, Jaren said through his teeth. And because I won't let them kill someone who tried to tell the truth. The head counselor, a tall creature with 6 eyes and a long robe, raised his hand. Enough, he said. His voice was deep and cold. This human has broken our laws. He will be punished. Then punish me, Jaren shouted, standing again. But listen to me first. If you kill her, you'll regret it. You think she's dangerous? No, the real danger is what you're trying to hide, and I can prove it. The counselor looked at the others. There was silence. Then a nod. Take them both to the prison tower, he ordered. We will question them privately. The guards dragged Jaren and Vela away. The crowd slowly began to disperse, buzzing with confusion and fear. Up in the sky, a black drone hovered silently. It had been recording everything. Far away, in a dark control room deep beneath the council's palace, a hooded figure watched the screen. So, the figure whispered, the human has arrived. The prison cell was silent. Too silent. Even the walls seemed to hold their breath. Deep under the city of Tarsi's 9, behind layers of metal and stone, 2 prisoners sat in the dark, 1 alien. 1 human. Vela sat in the corner, her back against the wall. Her silver skin looked dull now, bruised from chains and beatings. Her blue eyes stared at the ground. Unmoving. Across the small cell, Jaren Holt leaned against the bars, blood drying on his face. His hands were tied behind him, but his mind was racing. Minutes passed. No words, just the hum of power running through the floor. Then she spoke. You're a fool, she said quietly. Jaren looked up. Maybe, but at least you're still alive. Vela turned her head slowly. Why did you do it? He smiled, even with pain in his jaw. Because I hate public executions. That's not an answer. Jaren took a deep breath. Because I've seen too many innocent people die while the real monsters wear medals. Silence again. I didn't ask for your help, Vela said. I didn't wait for you to ask. For the first time, her lips almost formed a smile. Almost. Who are you really? She asked. Earth left this sector 50 years ago. No humans come here anymore. I didn't come here on purpose, Jaren said. I was running cargo through a wormhole. Bad coordinates, bad luck. Crashed on a moon nearby. Fixed what I could and ended up here. Just in time to see someone about to be killed for telling the truth. She tilted her head. You believe me? I don't need to believe, I know. Vela's eyes narrowed. How? Jaren stepped closer. Because I used to work for them. That made her sit up straighter. Not Tarsi's, he added quickly. But people like them. Governments who smile on the outside and kill in secret. He looked away, his voice quieter now. I used to be a soldier, Earth Alliance. Special Division. I saw things, horrible things. They said we were protecting people, but we were silencing them. Vela watched him closely. She no longer saw a stranger. She saw something else, pain, regret. So you ran? I escaped, Jaren corrected. There's a difference. She nodded slowly. You risked your life back there. You'll be executed now. Just like me. No, Jaren said. We're going to escape. Vela laughed once, bitterly. This is the most secure prison on Tarsi's 9, he grinned. Then it's lucky. I don't play by their rules. Suddenly, a tiny light blinked on his collar, almost invisible in the darkness. Vela's eyes widened. What is that? He leaned in closer. Backup. Sort of. The wall behind them shook slightly. A low boom echoed through the floor. What did you do? She asked. I left a surprise in my ship's wreckage, he said. A signal. If I don't check in, it sends out a very loud message. The cell shook again. Alarms started to ring, red. Lights flashed. Vela stood up. For the first time in days, she felt hope. They'll come for us now, she said. No, Jaren replied. They'll come to kill us faster. We need to move. A voice came from the hallway, mechanical and... Come, prison breach detected. All units respond. The cell door remained locked. Jaren looked at Vela. You said they're hiding something? A weapon? She nodded. Yes, a stellar core cannon. Hidden under the sky vault. It can destroy a planet. Earth? He asked. Yes, Earth is the first target. Jaren's eyes darkened. Then we're not just escaping, he said. We're going to stop them. The door behind them exploded open, not from outside, but from inside. A small hover drone flew in and beeped twice. Friends of yours? Vela asked. Not exactly, Jaren said. But they owe me favors. He grabbed the drone's toolkit with his tied hands. Can you walk? I can run, she replied. They looked at each other, two fugitives from different worlds. Now united by purpose. As the sirens screamed above them, they ran into the dark tunnel beyond the cell, leaving the chains and their old lives. Behind, dust and smoke filled the narrow tunnel. Jaren ran first, holding a stolen blaster in one hand and guiding Vela with the other. Behind them, alarms echoed through the stone corridors. Lights flashed red. Boots thundered somewhere far above, but Jaren didn't slow down. Not yet? They turned a corner and ducked into an old storage room. The metal door slid shut behind them. With a hiss. Silence. Vela leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Her silver skin was scraped and bleeding. Jaren looked at her, concerned. You okay? She nodded once. I've been through worse. Jaren placed the blaster down and scanned the room with quick eyes. Old crates. Broken machines, no cameras, safe for now. All right, he said. Time for answers. Vela looked up. You? Said they're hiding a weapon. A stellar core cannon. Why would they build something like that? She hesitated. Then she walked to a crate, sat down, and began to speak. It started with a discovery, she said. 5 years ago, our scientists found something buried deep under the northern mountains of Tarsi's, an ancient power source. Older than our species, older than this planet. Jaren listened, silent. It was alien, but not like us. Not like you. It was ancient tech, alive, intelligent, dangerous. What kind of tech? Energy drawn from stars. The ability to turn suns into weapons. Jaren's face hardened. A star killer. Vela nodded. The council wanted to study it, but I saw what they really wanted. They didn't care about science, they wanted power. She looked down at her hands. I was part of the research team. I had access to everything. At first, I believed in the mission. But the more I saw, the more I understood. They weren't building for defense. They were building to conquer. She looked at Jaren. Her voice trembled slightly. Earth is first on their list. Because you refused to join their empire years ago. This is revenge and a warning to others. Jaren leaned back. His heart was beating faster now. So you tried to stop them? I copied files. I planned to leak the truth. But someone betrayed me. They erased everything, blamed me for the data breach, and called me a traitor. She gave a bitter smile. I was one of their best scientists. Now I'm just a criminal in chains. Jaren was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I believe you. Vela looked at him with surprise. You barely know me. I don't need to, he replied. I've seen what power does to people, and I've seen how much truth costs. He picked up the blaster again. We can't stop this from a hiding spot. We need proof. We need something big. Something they can't erase. Vela stood, her voice steadied. There is something. The main control core of the weapon is located beneath the sky vault. If we reach it, we can download the full specs and maybe destroy it. Jaren raised an eyebrow. How do you know all this? Vela looked at him, eyes glowing faintly. Because I helped design it. Before Jaren could reply, the door buzzed. A quiet beep. Vela froze. They found us. Jaren shook his head. No, that's not their pattern. That was gentle. The door slid open slowly. Standing there was a hooded figure, not a guard, not a soldier. An old alien with a metal eye and a staff. You don't belong here, the stranger said. Jaren aimed the blaster. Who are you? The old alien raised one hand. I'm someone who still remembers what honor means on this planet. He looked at Vela. I followed your trial. I know you were telling the truth. Vela frowned. Why didn't you speak out? Because I'm tired of being silenced. But now there's a human involved. The council is afraid. And that means you have a chance. Jaren lowered the weapon. What chance? The old alien stepped aside. There's a hidden way. Into the sky vault. Only the old city builders know of it. I will show you. Vela and Jaren looked at each other. For the first time she smiled. Truly smiled. Then let's end this. They followed the old man into the shadows, leaving behind the dust, the lies, and the weight of failure. This time, they weren't running. They were going to fight back. Asterisk. There was no light. No sound, only the drip, drip, drip of water. In the dark, Jaren's boots hit the wet stone floor quietly. Vela walked beside him, her silver skin now stained with dirt and blood. The old alien, their guide, moved ahead of them like a shadow. They were deep under the city of Sci 9. Now, below the prisons, below the temples. This place was forgotten, buried. And the undercity. No one lived here. Not anymore. Keep your voices low, the old alien whispered. His name was Grath. Sound travels far in these tunnels. There are things down here even the council doesn't control. Jaren glanced around. The walls were made of dark stone, carved with symbols he couldn't understand. The air smelled of rust, mold, and old secrets. He tightened his grip on the blaster. Are you sure this tunnel leads to the sky vault? He asked. Grath nodded. I built parts of it. Long ago, before it was used for war. Vela looked at the carvings as they passed. This is ancient technology, older than Sci's. Some of it is still active. Suddenly the ground shook. A low growl echoed through the tunnel. Jaren raised his weapon. What was that? Grath stopped. His voice dropped lower. Security drones, left behind decades ago. They roam without orders now, and shoot anything that moves. Jaren swore under his breath. Great. They moved quickly now, winding through collapsed halls and old train lines. Pipes hissed. Sparks danced along broken cables. Then they saw it, a glowing blue light ahead, slow-moving, humming softly. Drone, Vela whispered. Jaren pulled her. Down behind a pillar just in time, the drone passed by, silent and deadly. It had 6 thin arms, each tipped with a blade or blaster. Its red eye scanned the darkness. They held their breath. The drone paused, then drifted away. Silence returned. Grath signaled, "Go, now." They moved faster. Jaren's heart pounded with every step. He had fought many battles, but this felt different. Like the walls themselves were watching. Finally, they reached an old platform, half broken, covered in moss and wires. Grath pointed to a round door on the far side. "That hatch leads to the Sky Vault Foundation. Is it guarded?" Jaren asked. Grath nodded, heavily, and more traps ahead. "Old machines, still hungry." Vela stepped forward. "Then we disable them." Grath pulled out a small device, a palm-sized cube with glowing sides. "This will overload the first line of sensors. But only for 90 seconds? After that, we run or we die?" Jaren looked at Vela. "You ready?" She smirked. "I was born ready." Grath activated the cube. A high-pitched whine filled the tunnel. The door clicked open. They ran, inside the next chamber. Metal arms moved along the walls, scanning, reaching. Floor panels lit up, tracking their every step. Jaren fired at a turret. As it dropped from the ceiling, sparks flew. Smoke filled the air. Vela used a broken pipe to swing over a trapwire. Grath slid under a collapsing gate just in time. A mechanical voice shouted warnings in the Tarsian. Language. Time was running out. They reached a narrow hallway, lined with glowing green tubes. Inside each tube was a living creature, sleeping, frozen in stasis, all different species. Some looked human. Vela stopped. This is wrong. They're experimenting on prisoners." Jaren's jaw tightened. "We'll come back. Right now, we get the proof." At the end of the hallway stood a giant vault door. Symbols swirled across its surface. It pulsed with energy. Grath touched the control panel. "It's here, behind this door, the weapon's brain." Suddenly, footsteps behind them. Council guards. They had been followed. Grath shouted, "Get inside." "I'll hold them off." "No." Vela reached for him, but he pushed her in and sealed the door with a wave of his staff. Jaren banged on the glass. The last thing they saw was Grath smiling sadly, and then turning to face the soldiers. Blasters fired. The sound cut off. Silence again inside the vault. Jaren and Vela stood alone. Before them, rising from the floor, was a glowing machine core, spinning slowly, alive with power. It looked like a beating heart made of light. Vela stepped toward it. "This is it," she whispered. "The core of the stellar cannon." Jaren raised his weapon. "Then let's shut it down." Smoke drifted through the vault. Everything was quiet now. Jaren stood beside the machine core, his blaster still raised, though no one was there too. "Fight." Vela's hands were on the glowing surface of the core. Her eyes were closed. She was listening. The weapon wasn't just energy. It was connected to something bigger, a system, a network. And it was alive in a way machines shouldn't be. "I can feel it," she whispered. "It's not just a weapon. It's intelligent." Jaren frowned. "You mean AI?" "No, I mean, it's thinking, choosing, waiting." Before he could speak again, the core dimmed. A soft voice echoed from nowhere. Identity confirmed. "Welcome back, Creator." Vela stepped back, shocked. "It remembers me." Suddenly a hatch opened in the wall. A metal panel slid aside, revealing stairs leading deeper into the darkness. Jaren raised an eyebrow. "That doesn't look good." Vela looked at him. "Or it's leading us somewhere we're not supposed to see," Jaren sighed. "That's usually where the truth hides." They went down. The stairs ended in a room made of crystal and black steel. Light moved through the walls like flowing water. And in the center stood 4 figures. Rebels. Not just any rebels, survivors of different species, dressed in scavenged armor, each with scars from battles long forgotten. One of them, a tall alien with sharp orange eyes, stepped forward. "You made it," he said. Grath kept his promise. Vela looked around. You're the underground resistance? The alien nodded. We call ourselves the Shattered. Ring, we've been watching the council from the shadows. Jaren lowered his blaster slightly. How long have you been waiting here? Too long, the rebel said. But now, with you two, everything changes. Vela stepped forward. We need your help. The council's building a weapon that could destroy entire planets. We know, said a voice from behind them. Jaren turned fast, blaster raised. A man stepped out of the shadows. Human. His uniform was clean. His boots polished. And on his chest he wore an old Earth Alliance badge just like Jaren's. Vela stepped back. Another human? Jaren narrowed his eyes. You've got to be kidding me. The man smiled. Name's Commander Rhett. Carver, I was part of Earth's first mission to Tarsize. I stayed behind when the rest of you ran. I didn't run, Jaren growled. I escaped, Carver shrugged. Same result. The room grew tense. Carver turned to Vela. I know what they did to you. I know what you tried to stop. That's why we've been waiting. We need someone who understands the tech and someone who can make the people believe again. Believe what? Vela asked. Carver stepped closer. That the council isn't untouchable? That the truth still matters? He looked at Jaren. That humans still fight for what's right. Jaren didn't move. You working with them? Or against them? Carver's smile faded. Against. But I've had to play both sides to survive. You know how it is? Jaren didn't trust him. Not fully. Not yet. Later in the rebel war room, a space full of flickering screens, maps, and stolen files, the truth began to unfold. A rebel pointed at the screen. This is the weapons firing schedule. Earth is the first target. Countdown, 48 hours. Vela's face tightened. Another rebel stepped forward. There's more. A secret vote passed yesterday. The council is planning a live broadcast of Earth's destruction to scare the galaxy. Jaren slammed his fist on the table. We can't let that happen, Carver nodded. We won't, but we need to hit them where it hurts. The control. Bridge above the sky vault. That's where the firing codes are stored. We destroy that, the cannon shuts down. Vela asked, and if we fail? Carver looked directly at her. Then Earth burns. Later that night, Jaren sat alone near the edge of the vault. He stared into the dark. Vela approached, sitting beside him. You still don't trust him, she said. No, Jaren replied. Because I know men like him. Always smiling, always hiding something. Vela looked at him. And me? Do you trust me now? Jaren gave a small smile. I risked my life to save you. If that doesn't mean trust, I don't know what does. She smiled too, gently. Good, because we're going to need each other. In the distance, the vault rumbled. The final plan had begun. It started with fire. The sky vault was burning. Sirens screamed. Smoke rose into the clouds of Tarsize 9, and in the middle of it all, Jaren Holt stood over a broken console, blood on his face, blaster in his hand, breathing hard. Someone had betrayed them. He looked down at the body in front of him, a face he trusted, a face he followed, now still. Now dead. And somewhere in the chaos, Vela was missing, 12 hours earlier. The rebel team moved through the ruins beneath the sky vault, dressed in stolen council armor. Jaren and Vela led the front. Behind them came Commander Carver, the rebel alien scout Sarek, and a silent tech specialist named Muno. Grath was gone. His sacrifice still fresh in their minds, they reached the underground lift, a quiet silver platform hidden behind a false wall. Above them, the sky vault, the council's heart. The control center for the stellar cannon. Jaren looked at the others. Once we go up, there's no turning back. Vela added, we have one goal, disable the firing control and transmit the truth across the city. Make the people see what the council really is. Carver nodded. No mistakes, no mercy. The lift rose. The sky vault was beautiful and deadly. A circular space of light and steel floating high above the city. Giant windows looked out at the twin suns. Holograms danced in the air, showing star maps, countdowns, weapon data. Dozens of council soldiers patrolled the platform. The team split up. Vela and Muno moved toward the data core to upload the evidence. Jaren and Carver went to the control bridge to override the system. Sarek stayed back to jam the comms and keep their escape route open. Everything moved fast. Too fast. In the control room. Jaren found the master console. 30 minutes until firing sequence, he muttered. We cut it close. Carver tapped into the system with a tool. I've got the codes, just need to find the override. Gunfire. Sudden loud close. Jaren ducked. A soldier fell behind him. Sarek's voice came over the comms. Panicked. We've been found. I repeat, we've been. Static. Damn it, Jaren shouted. They knew we were coming. Meanwhile, Vela reached the data tower. She connected the core drive to Muno's transmitter. Files began uploading, blueprints, experiments, secret orders, but then she heard it, a voice. I knew you'd come back. She turned and saw Counselor Halrex. The one who sentenced her to death. He smiled. I let you in, Vela. You think your little rebellion was hidden? We watched you crawl through the dirt. Now you've brought us something useful. He looked past her. Muno, activate Protocol 77. Vela turned in shock. Muno didn't move. Instead, he pulled out a small device and wiped the entire upload. Why? She whispered. Muno's voice was empty. Because I never stopped serving the Council. He shot her in the leg. Jaren heard her scream through the wall. He pushed past Carver, sprinted through a narrow tunnel and kicked open the vault door. He found Vela crawling toward the console. Blood behind her, Muno gone. The files erased. Stay with me, Jaren said, kneeling beside her. She grabbed his collar. They knew, from the beginning. Her eyes narrowed. There's another spy. And then Jaren turned. Carver stood in the doorway, blaster raised. I didn't want it to end like this, Carver said. But Earth betrayed us first. The Council offered something better, order, power. You were with them the whole time, Jaren growled. No, I was with whoever wins. That's how survival works. Jaren shot first. Carver fell. Now, smoke? Fire. One friend dead, one missing. Mission nearly lost, but Jaren stood. He walked to the main console. Even with the files gone, he could still override the weapon. Still stop the countdown. He slammed his hand on the control crystal. Authorization code. Earth Delta 5. Overload core. Shutdown sequence now. The lights flickered. The cannon began to hum, not to fire, but to die. Outside the window, explosions lit up the city. Then he heard her, Vela's voice, weak but alive. You did it? Jaren turned. He smiled. No, we did. She reached up and touched the window. Now we finish this. Asterisk, the world was quiet again. Not because the danger had passed, but because of what was coming. Jaren sat beside Vela in the shattered sky vault. The stars outside the windows shimmered like broken glass. Below, the twin suns of Tarsi's 9 were beginning to rise. She leaned against him, breathing hard. Her leg was wrapped in cloth, her silver skin stained with blood and ash. He held her hand, not tightly, just enough to say, I'm still here. For a few seconds they didn't speak. The silence said everything. Then the console beeped. Emergency override. Cancelled. Manual core reboot in 5 minutes. Firing system reactivating. Jaren's heart dropped. I shut it down, he said. It should have worked. Vela looked at the screen. It did, but the Council had a backup system. Hidden deeper, autonomous, the weapon is restarting itself. He stood up fast. There must be a second core. We missed it. She nodded. It's under the vault, directly beneath this chamber. Jaren grabbed the blaster. Then I'm going in. Vela tried to stand, but winced in pain. He placed a hand on her shoulder. You've done enough. She looked at him, her voice shaking. Promise me, if I don't make it, stop them. Don't let them erase what we did. He knelt beside her and whispered, we both walk out or none of us. 3 minutes. Jaren dropped down through a hatch and entered the lower deck, a space that felt more alive than machine. The walls pulsed with light. The floor hummed beneath his feet. At the center, the second core, glowing white, spinning faster than before, and standing in front of it. Counselor Halrex, you humans, the alien sneered, always trying to be heroes. Always too late. Jaren raised his blaster. Halrex didn't flinch. You think you've won something? Earth will burn. The galaxy will bow. You are nothing but insects crawling into fire. Jaren walked forward slowly. Maybe, but I'd rather burn fighting than live kneeling. Halrex struck first, a burst of red lightning from his gauntlet. Jaren dodged, rolled, fired back. Sparks flew. They fought in the glow of the core, a human soldier versus a high-ranking alien tyrant. Fists, blaster shots, metal against flesh. Jaren took a hit to the ribs, pain shot through his side, but then he saw it, a weak point in the core structure. A small control panel on the far side. He ran for it. Halrex grabbed his leg, pulled him down. Jaren kicked hard, spun, and fired one clean shot right into Halrex's heart. The counselor dropped. Without a word. 1 minute left. Jaren reached the panel. His fingers moved fast. Begin manual override. Input authorization. He paused. He had no code. No key. He looked up and remembered Vela's words. It's tied to my DNA. Only I can shut it down. Back above, Vela pulled herself to her feet. She felt the ship shaking, the system growing stronger. She limped to the console and she heard Jaren's voice over the comlink. Vela, it needs you. She didn't hesitate. She grabbed a cable, ripped it free, and pressed the needle end into her arm. The system beeped. DNA signature accepted. Final override confirmed. All across the sky vault, systems died, lights dimmed. The core stopped spinning. The weapon was dead. In the silence that followed, the people of Sci-Fi 9 looked up at the sky. They had seen the explosions. They had seen the message broadcast before the signal was cut, the truth about the Council's lies. And now, they rose. Not in fear, but in rebellion. Jaren helped Vela down from the command deck. She leaned on him, smiling weakly. You did it, she said. No, he replied. We did it. A rebel ship descended through the smoke. The ramp opened. Sarek waved from inside. As they boarded, Jaren looked back once more at the sky vault, now quiet, now powerless. Vela whispered, What happens now? He smiled faintly. Now, we go home. Weeks later, across the galaxy, people watched a recovered video. It showed the Council's secrets. The weapon, the execution that never happened. The human who risked everything. It ended with Vela's voice. They tried to silence us. A truth cannot be erased. This is not just about Earth, it's about all of us. We fight not for power, but for freedom. Under the title appeared one line, Humanity will never kneel.